Hey everybody, I'm going to try something a little bit different today in that I'm going to try to walk through the process after a POTA. This is more of a notebook video, so it's more for my reference, I think. If it winds up being handy for other folks, that is also cool. Okay, so first thing I want to do is, and I guess first thing I should let you all know about, is I did a POTA yesterday. See if I can grab that. I thought I could. Maybe I can't. And there we go. And so I need to get my ADIF file off to POTA so everybody gets credit. So what I'm going to do is start up a HTTP server here. I haven't had a lot of coffee this morning. .server. Cool. And that's on port 8000, so I'm going to come over here and say localhost. And then /ADIF under adifgen.html. Maybe. There we go. Cool. And I put this in as a QSO update a minute ago. So we go history, and then we can go update this one, I believe. But really, we just want to see the file at that time, so I'm going to come here. That is it. And then what I'm going to do is get the raw version of that file. And I'm going to pass that to the ADIF generator. And I'm going to say that I was in US-4571. See where we get. Cool. There's my call sign, the times. It was the 7th. 45. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to take that. Control-C. I wish there was a cleaner way to do this, but I don't see one yet. I'm going to do that. I'm going to say Control-S. I'm going to say latest.adif. I'm going to put that in downloads. Just have a place to put it. I'm going to make sure it just has an ADIF extension save. Alright. And then I'm going to go to the POTA site. Right. POTA. Log uploads. Here. There it is. And that's Juan Bautista. That's where I was. That's a good check. 10 CW QSOs. That is absolutely true. And off it goes. Excellent. And then just a quick, see if I talked to anybody last night that was in another place. Oh, I need to put in my log from Golden Gate Recreation Area, because that was a while back. Okay, I'll get that in a minute. That was very cool. That was literally across the park. Okay, so I've done that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my ADIF generator off. And I'm going to come back over here and turn my server off because I don't need the ADIF generator anymore. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into dataset. Yep. And sorry, did I move it over already? I did, yes. And I'm going to go ahead and move over. Well, you know what? I'll just get new slices when I need them. So I'm going to say del left under slice.db. Del rm on TouCans under slice.db. This brings up an interesting thing I hadn't thought of, which is I generally create RM TouCans from the CSV file, a CSV file in your great. And that means it doesn't get the launch angle and height information. And I guess that's okay. It would be nicer to keep them forever though, so I'll have to work on that. Okay. Now we're going to see if my documentation works. We're going to come over here and here. Let's see exams. Let's go to the repositories. Let's go here. Let's go look at documents. And the one we want, should be 4 days ago. Okay, let's see if it works. Oh, nice one. Okay, good. So I set it up where I don't have to go look at dates anymore, at least. So we're going to do this. And then I already had, we're going to say, what are we going to say? QSO update. Yep. Go to history. We're going to go look at the file at that time. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and look at it. I'm going to go like that. I'm going to pop this here. And what this should do is it will automatically pull in the data from the Glowtech Global Total Electron Content site at the NOAA, so we have all the ionosphere information. So let's get that started. And it pulls the date ranges from either side of the earliest 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after the interesting. Apparently it also does more. Okay. I wonder what more it does. Okay. Okay, control. We'll go to repos. We're going to go to dataset IAMPerf. And I was running Glowtech, so let's take a look at the code. Binary. Okay, apparently that's not what I meant. No, that's not what I meant at all. Repos. Here. We want glowtech.py, Python file. And I'm going to hit to, okay. Oh, and I had done so much more apparently. Okay, cool. So I updated this. QSO times yep. So that what it was doing was it was pulling in the data. Let's get rid of this little guy. And then it was also slicing the databases automatically. Nice one. Okay, cool. And so what that means is I need to get the new TouCans database in here. So I'm going to pop this over to here. We go to downloads. We're going to go over to, see, we're going to go to here. Don't need that right this instance. Hamradio, and then we're going to say TouCans DB backup. TouCans.db is here. I'm going to download that. There it goes. Very cool. We're going to refresh over here. We'll see. Here. And we're going to just get, yep. There's that. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to look at all database files. And we just made a slice that we're just going to chuck. And this is legit now. Okay. And then let's do that outing again. Very cool. And so what we need to do right now is actually start a server. So let's go into a dataset server. And so we're going to go in here, and then we're going to go over to QSO Spires documentation. And did I write that in here by any chance? I did not. All right. Hamradio, QSO Spires. Right there. Very cool. This. Save and bulk. And see, now we want to do it that way. No, we want to use the slice databases for now. And I know what that's going to try to do. Interesting. Okay. So let's do it this way. Let's go ahead and finish out slicing first. Come back to our docs. And we're going to use this. Yep. And that's how it's going to feed them back in. Interesting. Okay, so it does want it to be available. And it wants to use the slices. Okay, cool. Let's try this again. Let's just use this command. And that worked. Okay. All right, and then over here, what I want to do is be able to do this. Okay. And I think I already have it over here somewhere. Yeah, I do. Here we go. So the time window starts at here. See if we want that Z in there or not. I need to work on that. Maybe not. And then we want to do dash dash in. Alright, I'm going to do this. And off we go. And what this is doing is calculating the launch angle and the maximum height of the ionosphere at the midpoint of each QSO. Cool, did that. Okay, then delete the original slices and make them again. Okay, so we're going to shut this down. We're going to say DEL our slice DB and our TouCans slice DB. Cool. And the way we're going to make them again is by doing this. .py. And then we're going to put that range in again. And if nothing else, the documentation is paid off. Cool. let's start the server back up. Okay. And now I am supposed to be able to do something like this. Oh, actually that should be exactly it. We will find out, won't we? Holy cow. That is pretty spiffy. And are we ever going to get the quota data on it? Yeah, we are still working on it, I think. Yeah, it is. There we go. There is the F2 layer. Did we get F2? Maybe not yet. Still working, I think. Yeah, probably. I think that was a little ambitious. Let's move that to like, 40. Move that to like 80. Let's move this to negative 160. Let's move this to negative 40. And then keep your fingers crossed. And let's try to open the map. Otherwise, I will change the URL. Probably the best thing to just plan on that. Oh, maybe we're going to get there. Ooh. Okay, I've got the URL updated for me at any rate. There we go. So much better. And let's change this to, I don't know, probably 30. Maybe even 20. I don't need it that high. That looks about negative 50. And about negative 60. And update the map. There we go. Let's see. There we go. Cool. And here are all the QSOs, I think. We're going to get there. We are. Turn that off. We can turn that off in a minute. We'll be able to watch QSOs go across. That's really cool. We can zoom in. That's where I was, all right. And what we're seeing here is that the altitude wasn't quite right, so I'm going to go ahead and give that about 52 meters of a bump up. That's too high, so I'm going to make it too low. Positive 5. Getting there. Alright, we're going to scroll in on this. And then I'm going to come down about a half meter at a time. I think I will call that. And so now we're going to say download the QSO CZML. Excellent. And now we're going to open that with Notepad. We're going to come in somewhere else. We're going to go look at maps. Okay. Find the one from last night. So KML gets updated automatically, and then I do this for the CZMLs. I've got like 2025-0907, maybe. There we go. See, control home. Add file, create new file. Except instead of KML, it's CZML. And then we go here, Control A, Control C, Control V. Alright, and we commit the changes. Commit changes. Okay. Very cool. And And it's interesting, you know, they basically avoided pretty much every single building. You can see that some of those are launching right off the hill. Did we avoid? Yeah. We just nailed the corner of that one, and that was who? That was probably the contact of Georgia. Yep, it was. Awesome. Alright, and that Sutro Tower over there. Here. Awesome. And then what I think we can do, I hope, is watch. See how it played out. So we started out kind of close, and this, by the way, this is that Iowa one. There was no counterpoise. And then I put the counterpoise on, and it went out to Virginia, I believe. And now we're just kind of out to the East Coast in Texas. Back to the East Coast again. And what we're doing is 1 second of our time is 1 minute of the POTA time. That's this little 60x multiplier over here. And so then there was a big gap. I'm going to let this play out because this video is really long already. But I think I'm waiting for one more QSO to Nebraska. And again, what I did was I pulled the counterpoise, and what that did was make, yep, there it goes to Nebraska, and that was the last QSO. And that made the launch angle from the antenna go higher. And off we went. And so if we look at how the height changed, you can see it's not changing that much, really. Maybe let's change it from yellow to green, and then we hit the East Coast. So let's reel it back in again. And what it does is it shows all the QSOs at the time the POTA started. Just so you can get a feel for what they all look like. If we go look at FOF2 instead, what we see is when we started, I had the counterpoise off, we went to Iowa. We're still going green to orange. Green to red. And so again, we're not changing a whole lot. Red, yellow. Yellow. Okay, so we lost our green and went to yellow. Huh. And then that's the one in Nebraska, I believe, and we're out. And then I guess the last view I wanted to take a look at real quick was what was going on with how close were we to gray line, what was the sun doing. Okay. And I'll do a split beam map with this later. There's the sun. Okay, and so it definitely was setting right that moment. Cool, let's watch. I love that it's projected on the buildings here. And the sun's down. And there we go. Got a change in the echo frequency. Another change in the critical frequency. Right after that, we wound up out in where? Oh. That was RLJ. Oh, that's Nebraska. Huh, that is interesting. Maybe it wasn't new with the counterpoise, but I'm pretty sure it was. And that is all. All right. So I'm going to go get things moving around here on a Sunday morning. I will talk to everybody soon. I just wanted to record the process. Okay, 72s.
Dun 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 toucan radios!
Woo!